What's up, guys? Zane from Forward Progress Madden. I know it's been about 2 weeks or so. I'm still waiting on an Elgato to come in that I ordered off the internet. Nonetheless, I'm going to show you a scheme out of, you guessed it, the Saints offensive playbook. Like I said, in the Snugs scheme, stay in a book, pick it at the beginning of the year, stick with it through good times and bad, because at the end of the year, you're going to be able to do something out of every formation in the book. Now, in the last mini scheme that I showed you, it wasn't really a mini scheme, it was my complete offense. It was more of a compression, snugs based offense, lots of man picks, switches, stuff like that, and it didn't completely transfer over to the next gen. Now, I still do run the Saints book some on the next gen, so this scheme is actually predominantly for the next gen, but it does work on the current gen as well. So for those of you who are going to post inevitably below the video asking, is this a next gen tip, is this a current gen tip, I am recording this on the current gen because I have the HD PVR and it works with my current gen console. I'm still waiting for the Elgato game recorder that can record in HD, an HDMI cord. So this tip works on both. Don't bother asking below. I'm sure someone still will do that, but let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to look at the empty Y Saints. Like I said, last tip video I did, it was a compression scheme. Everything in tight, lots of motions, picks, and switches. This is going to be a spread offense. Now, you want to pick a team that's got a good pass-catching running back because we are using posse personnel. Posse personnel is one running back, one tight end, 3 receivers. Now, in this formation we're going to be running, it works just fine because the empty Y Saints uses your number 2 running back as your flanker. As you can see, Shane Vereen is out here on the left side of the screen at the flanker position. Inside of him, we put another slot type receiver in Julian Edelman. The tight end position is Rob Gronkowski. The right slot position is Danny Amendola. And then at the right split end position, you're going to want whoever your biggest vertical threat or best catch in traffic guy would be. The Patriots aren't really an up top type of team. I went ahead and just left Aaron Dobson out there. So go ahead and get into it. The first thing I want to look at is a play that is what we're going to build our scheme around. And it's something that you're going to be able to attack with user catching. You're going to have routes on both sides of the field that must be manually guarded, and you're going to have a lot of high-low levels, progression reads over the middle against the blitz. So you're going to be able to do a number of things out of this formation within this play, and the play is Saints Drags. First off, we're going to go ahead and look at it against a basic nickel package, just a 2-man under. So as you can see here in the 2-man under, the reason I really like this formation is because we do have this tight end. Now, as you know, we can't hot route receivers to block. So if I wanted to block Danny Amendola, we no longer can press the right trigger and put him in a blocking assignment. That's because of the new hot routes that are in the game. Now, we do have Rob Gronkowski, and he can block. And the nice thing is that he motions back and forth as a wing, and you can block him. That's great for if you see pressure coming that you know you can't pick up. But as I said in the last video, I'm the guy that likes to put everybody on routes and just make reads quickly. So I basically like to, run this play stock. And you'll see the first route that is a real pain in the neck to defend is the Aaron Dobson. I don't know what you would call that really. It's kind of like a comeback route, but it doesn't come back to the ball very much. It's kind of a hitch, but it's to the outside. So, as you can see, Dobson, as he breaks to the outside, you're just going to throw a low and outside pass lead. Right there, Aaron Dobson did not look for the ball, but we're going to throw this, and it's kind of going to look like a back shoulder fade. We're not really going to throw it as a comeback. And it might just be the formation that we're facing here, but Dobson's not looking for it. If that's the problem, go ahead and he should be okay here. Yeah, as you can see, Dobson's not doing a great job out there. But a higher catch and traffic receiver like a Marshall, Jeffrey, obviously a Calvin Johnson, somebody like that is going to do just fine. And that's what we're looking for right there. As soon as they start to stem to the outside and break, that's when we're throwing the down and outside pass lead. And the press man coverage just can't get back to it. You're going to notice that if Aaron Dobson breaks the press to the inside, you're going to not really have that read, it seems like. But if he breaks to the outside, then you're in good shape. Now, the next route that we're going to look at is actually Shane Vereen on his drag. Now, this is something that was in Madden last year, but if you're in man press, drag routes can be lobbed. So as soon as Shane Vereen cuts over the middle, we're just going to throw a high tap lob to him. And for some reason, the DBs don't look for it. So this is going to be something that we can use to beat man, but drags are also a great zone beater as well. So as you can see, Vereen just, he's the only one that's going to get a reaction to the ball. Patriots receivers aren't catching the ball for us right now, but as you can see, guys are open on these. So we're not really throwing the drag, it's more kind of looking like a slant route when we catch it. Now this is against a base 2-man under, so they're rushing 4 guys. You may see guys that like to drop linemen into zones, so that's something you're going to have to be aware of because they could potentially get in the way and swat that or pick it over the middle. The next route we're going to look at against man coverage is Danny Amendola over the middle on his crossing pattern. As you can see, he does a pretty nice job. If you have a guy like Brady, it's an easy throw to make. Not very many players play with terrible quarterbacks online, so Brady is going to be fine. There, the pressure got to us. Willis is a great, he has great coverage ability, so he's not always going to be open, but that's fine because we have the square in by Rob Gronkowski that also beats man coverage. If we can get our offensive line to block for us a little bit, I'll show you here. So as you can see, Rob Gronkowski on the square in over the middle is another nice option against man. As you can see here, his man is actually aligned with him. He's already inside of him, but still Gronkowski's going to beat him over the middle. It's very reliable. Nice little read over the middle. Now this is against man. The last thing we can look at is Julian Edelman on his little stutter go. What I like to do with that is just user catch it. As you can notice here, Julian Edelman goes ahead and stutters, and that's when we're going to go ahead and throw a low inside pass lead. Click on. As you can see, the icon lights up blue under Edelman telling you I've clicked on. And then I just get inside position and catch the ball over the middle. This is not something that you're going to want to rely on as a first read. This is more of a 5th read in your progression because catching traffic is not a consistent thing. Certainly not on the next gen. Now, what I really want to take a look at is how this play beats zone because it is a high-low progression read style of play. Now, against zone, you're not usually going to see this press look in a cover 3, but we've provided one just for confusion purposes. But as you can see here, you can throw this little back shoulder fade against the zone coverage a little bit better than you can the man because they're not pressing you. Here we'll go ahead and call generic cover 3 back off the corner, and you can see that you're going to be able to throw this ball still. Just as soon as he goes to turn around, you're going to throw down outside pass lead, and Dobson should, more often than not, catch it on his back shoulder. It's a nice play to use to try to get out of bounds, 2-minute situation. You want to spread out the defense. That route's a great route. Now the next thing is you're going to have these high-low reads over the middle. Now we know it's zone. You're just going to simply watch your zone coverage. And we actually could have hit Vereen there on the drag underneath because it looked like the linebackers did a pretty solid job of covering the intermediate crossing pattern by Amendola as well as the dig by Gronkowski. So as you can see here, Amendola is something you can throw underneath. There's 3 levels, there are 3 tiers of crossing here. And it's going to be as simple as just choosing where the linebackers in the hook tier, you're going to choose the one they aren't defending. So you've got Vereen really shallow, you've got Amendola intermediate, and then you've got Gronk deeper over the middle. So it's going to be tough for a user player to defend all 3 of these routes because they're crossing at 2 yards, 7 yards, and 13 yards. So it's going to make for a tough user play by your opponent. We'll call a different zone here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Right there, just against the cover 2 sink, which is a very popular defense because of the outside yellows against deep out routes that people like to throw. This is a great play that you can run because you have intermediate crossing patterns. Gronkowski's going to pull the hook zones further back and allow Amendola to get open. Now, we're going to try to simulate Smith staying on Amendola here. If Smith were to play Amendola, you could throw the high-low read to Gronkowski over the middle. Obviously, I don't have 4 hands, so I can't really user the defense very well, but we simulated Smith jumping the intermediate crossing pattern, opening it up for Gronkowski deeper over the middle. Now, let's go ahead and look at the last read, Julian Edelman against zone. Not really the greatest, but as you can see, a cover 2 look, you might be able to squeeze this throw in. It's a little bit tougher to click on and make this catch against the zone coverage. I think it's because the guy's not covered. For some reason, I feel like when the coverage is tighter, you have a little bit more control. You can get a better animation. That's against the cover 2. Against the cover 3, we'll see if he's there as well. He's going to get off the press, stutter, and it's not really the best throw. But again, Julian Edelman is your 5th progression in the read. So the progression I like is Dobson, Vereen, Amendola, Gronkowski, Edelman. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is this play with the back shoulder fade concept that we're going to throw. Now, I could go on for a long time with this formation, but I'm just going to go over 1 or 2 more plays here. First one that we're going to look at, well, the second play in the series is Saints. Actually, I think I was about to call that the wrong play there. This is Saints verticals, I believe, out of the same formation. No, it is actually Saints under. Now, this play is really a mixture of 2 things. This is a mixture of the play 4 verticals. As you can see, you got it's actually 3 verticals, but you've got the same route combination. The only difference is Vereen is not running a vertical on the left side of the screen. He's actually running a comeback. But the main read that we're going to look at on this play is Edelman and Gronkowski. So Edelman against man coverage is going to get pretty open. They're not so much. You want a good route runner at this position because they're going to get open over the middle on this little shake route. They're going to hitch over the middle and then they're going to sit down and then cut over the middle on their shake pattern. As you can see on the last one, he got open. Here he does again. This is a great route. I believe that Mr. Smith at TGL talked about this route early in the year, the Baltimore play. It's a very nice route. Now, Gronkowski against man coverage could be there. Sometimes he's not. It just depends on whether or not he crosses underneath his man. Just a low and outside pass lead against man coverage is a nice thing to throw. The Vereen route is a different kind of comeback. So as you can see, he's just running straight down the field and cutting back hard to the sideline as compared to the hot routed comeback, which stems to the outside before he runs the route. You can do either. Both routes work in the for the purpose of flooding zones. You're going to have Gronkowski crossing deep over Vereen. Vereen comes back, so the deep half on that side of the field has to choose Gronkowski, which would open up Vereen. But against man coverage, I'm not a huge fan of this route. Sometimes it gets open, other times it doesn't. There it looks pretty good. Vereen's got solid route running, which is kind of why I'm showing this scheme with the 49ers. Vereen was a monster as far as pass catching goes. But if you were to have a bigger running back out there, he's not going to run this route as well. It is a good route. Show it against zone here. You throw this ball to the sideline. So what I like about this scheme is that you've got options to the sideline that are unique routes. You got this weird comeback, and then you got that back shoulder ball on the other play to Dobson. But against zone, you're going to use Edelman underneath as well. He's just going to run his little shake route over the middle. The verticals will run off the coverage deep on the right side, and you can hit Edelman crossing from left to right. So that's that play briefly. The last play I want to show is the play Saints Slant Flood. Now this is going to be primarily a man-beating concept, but if you catch them in the right zone, you might be able to do so as well. The route we're going to pay attention to is Shane Vereen. He's going to run a slant route, but it stems hard to the outside and then makes a hard cut over the middle. Much like a play that I showed last year out of the Green Bay book, this route really does a good job against man coverage. He'll work off of the press, and then he should beat his man hard over the middle. And it's not a traditional slant. It's much deeper. It's almost like a post. As we're throwing this ball about 15 yards downfield after he works off the press. As you can see there, we just beat 2-man under for a touchdown. Now, Edelman's route is a corner route. It's a good corner route. Does a good job beating man coverage as well. Gronkowski on his out route. It's kind of rounded off, but it's a solid man-beating play as well. As you know, deep out routes beat man coverage well. And then if you've got the right zone, you might have the option to be able to throw Amendola down the seam, like right in that area. It just depends on whether or not you've got a user player in the middle of the field paying attention to that or not. But basically, this play is all set up by the Shane Vereen route over here on the left side of the field. Last but not least, the little thing I want to show is that because this is posse personnel, you have the option to audible into other 3 receiver sets. So, for instance, gun trio, halfback base, it just kind of looks like a little jet sweep. If you quick snap it, Vereen runs into the backfield, and you've got a nice little, it really does look like a jet sweep. You just audible into it, and then hold down A to get him to sprint, and then you can just keep tapping it, snap the ball. You got a nice little run out of this set to quick snap out of. So you can go quickly from a 5-wide set down to a traditional shotgun with 1 running back. One thing I'll draw attention to is if they're blitzing the hell out of you in 7, you can max protect. Motion in Vereen, keep Gronkowski on the field. Now you've got double wings, looks very similar to the formation gun empty Saint, which I just audibled into. So, very unique scheme. You can do a lot of things out of it. Meshes well with the gun snugs, which is a 4-receiver set. It's nice to have some 3 wide receiver stuff too if you have a tight end that you like to play. So this works with the Patriots, the Broncos, Saints, Packers. Can work with the 49ers as well. But just another thing that you can add to your New Orleans offense. And like I said, this does work on the next-gen consoles. Let me know if you guys enjoy this. Be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and let others know if they're having trouble on the next gen. This is a scheme that they can use to really open up their offense. I think that spread concepts in Madden are nice, as well as compression, because when you go 5 wide, if your opponent really wants to send heat at you, they have to be creative, because more often than not they're going to basically telegraph where the pressure is coming from if they're stacking the box and you've got 5 receivers on the field, because you're going to have somebody open out there on the perimeter. So it's going to be hard for them to put 7, 8 guys in the box against a 5 wide look. So that's it for this video, and good luck, and I hope you guys enjoy that. Thanks.